All right. Items on the agenda. Public comment. Anybody from the public wish to talk? I do see an attendee in here, John Valukas. John, if you want to talk, just raise your hand. Just in the Zoom function. All right, I'm not seeing anything. All right, if he pops in, we got another attendee. Mason. Oh, Mason's in there. All right. Okay, so that's that. First project is the bollard maintenance. That one is, like I said, I think I know, Carolyn, you had a few questions with regards to the agenda. If we want to move things around, just please let me know. But I think I grabbed everything that we've been talking about in the agenda. I can reorganize it if you guys want, if to make it a little more easier. Bollard maintenance, that's just the ongoing. That's the one where the highway guys will be out there pulling the bollards, cleaning them up, painting them, putting in the new tape. So that'll be ongoing throughout the year. Wayfinding signs and mapping of the Highlands. I got to get back on that one. All right. I've got to talk to Russ Arnold, sit down and come up with a plan on that one. All right. Next item C is the improving access to the businesses along the trail. As we reported last meeting, we did the daily grind. We did that connection. Not sure if we have anything else on the list at this time, but definitely we could look at stuff in the future. So if anybody has any ideas, we could just put those on a list and get back to them at a certain time.
All right.
Hey, Matt, how you doing? All right. Next, what's my agenda? Oh,
And Bruce, real quick for the businesses part. Last month I had sent out an email about bike-friendly businesses and perhaps getting either town hall on board or the police department. The cost I think is like $50 maybe. I know volunteer government. I think it's a flat rate low tier versus businesses are scaled based on how many people. And Matt, even for like Central Wheel or something like that, a bike shop, it's not terribly expensive.
I think
the hard
last
sell
time we
is,
looked into it, it was like $400.
I think it's like 50.
I think so. Jeff balked at it. It was a lot of money.
Yeah. While the meeting goes on, I'll look it up. But I didn't think it was that much for a small business, and like they scale it based on full-time equivalent employees, and so if like you got under 20 employees full-time, then I don't think it was too expensive. But the hard thing is for us to, we want to get this so we basically have a town that's more bicycle friendly, and it'll help for our league application next time to try to get to silver. But for the businesses, they've got to be sold on the what's in it for them. Right now this is kind of a check in the box for the town. It helps our app, but what does this bring to the business? Same with, for the town, if we want to have the town be a bike friendly business at the town headquarters or the police department or something like that, whoever's going to be filling out that form needs to be convinced of why it's a good idea. Why should they spend, half an hour filling out this form and spending $50 to do it? So
yeah,
I don't know.
I know we weren't convinced, and I
Yeah.
kind of agreed with it.
Yeah.
I tend to, and I'm curious, like Bruce Donald, how would we sell this to someone like Trump? I can see that because they've got access to the trail, blah, blah, blah. I'm just wondering about this, like a bike shop.
Well, to a certain extent for bike shops, I'll give you an example. Keith Nappy, who owns Suburban Cycle in Berlin, They're actually a gold. I think they're the only gold bike shop in Connecticut, in fact, that with League of American Bicyclists. And Keith will tell you that it's actually brought them some business. They put the placard outside of Suburban Sports there, and people notice it, and they put it on their website that they've done that. And so I think there's an element of public relations involved. The other sales component, I think, is the community development component, which strengthens our next, silver application, should we ever choose to do it. Having, I thought it was $50. Yeah, you're right, Andres. It really does strengthen the town's application to have businesses in the town do it. In fact, we're having tomorrow night the Connecticut Committee of the East Coast Greenway is meeting at Tungus Community College, and I already had a conversation with them about becoming a bike-friendly university, and they seemed interested. So, I think. I think that's kind of the story when you're talking about it.
Sure, and for Tungus, if somebody wants to bike commute there, Route 6 or 177 is terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
There's no sidewalks, but
Yeah.
if they connect through the condos into Spring Lane and the bike path, now you've opened up for a lot of people, and college students would love to save some money and have an option of riding to school.
It's funny you mentioned that. We talked about that connection years ago. I'm talking 15 years ago. And essentially, it's funny because it's a connection to Trump. That's where you'd hit the trail.
Yeah.
Right there. So that, for instance, that's a connection we could chat up, all those folks with.
Yep.
And a good one.
That might be a long-term project, working with CTDOT to do something on Route 6 to go from the school to have a protected bike lane, at least connect up to the bike path there, at that self-storage place. But stuff takes
right.
years,
Oh, yeah.
and if we don't start moving on it, it'll when we do start, it'll be that many years later.
Well, it is true, and I don't need to tell Bruce this because he knows. It takes years to start talking to Connecticut DOT, particularly about state routes. They're the traffic engineers, hate building stuff on state routes if they can avoid it.
Sure.
So it takes a while to get them to agree to stuff like that, if they even do.
Hey, would Safe Routes do that? Community colleges, or just lower, just town public
I don't
schools?
see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised that
That
if
would
they
be
bought-
interesting, but
Yeah. Yeah.
free money, free resources.
Have you been stopping?
And if it highlights the need for a sidewalk on Route 6, and it might start up the conversation with DOT,
Okay.
knowing
Yeah.
that it takes years. That okay, well, let's get that ball up in the air.
So you should all be aware, I've got a meeting with DOT, a planning meeting, a project meeting with their TA folks. So that's Bruce, that's their head engineer. That's oh my God, I've already forgot his name. Mike Churpak
Okay.
is head engineer now. And I think second week of January. So if you guys have things to talk to DOT about, let me know. I'll put them on the agenda.
Okay.
Before we move on, Bruce, do you mind if I interject something?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because James was not able to be here tonight, but he did give me a little update that I wanted to share with you on Safe Routes to Schools. And I know we're going to talk about it later, but
Mhm.
he did say that he actually had a conversation with the new superintendent about this subject. And It was well received, and he said he had a positive discussion. The new superintendent would like to get in the seat before anything is done. But he walked away with a good feeling that we, could have some positive motion on this, and I can't guarantee anything. And
All right.
Andres, after speaking with you, I also heard the concerns that Dan had about, who's going to be responsible for doing roads and sidewalks around schools. So I can't address that directly right now, but I think that's a conversation I need to have with Kathy, before we do anything further, knowing that that's a concern of his. Let me talk to Kathy and Bruce. You and Mason are absolutely welcome to join me for that conversation if you'd like to be there, so we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that's
But I
fine.
want Kathy to know kind of like what we have moving here before it actually gets into any kind of motion. And I'm kind of hoping you probably at least kept her up to date a little bit on what's going on here with Safe
Yeah,
Routes to
I
School.
just want to reiterate that, us signing that 2-page form saying, yes, we'd like to have a walk audit performed at, elementary school XYZ. It's hardly any town resources. It's free. There's no commitment. There's no obligation to do anything. And so I think everybody is very, very scared of, oh my God, here's going to be this piece of paper that might make the town look bad. And if we don't do anything, we're going to look terrible. But this is just a step one. Rather than us internally doing it, it's a chance for someone else to do it external and do the work for us.
Yeah.
And I think whoever we speak to, we just need to be very open with, hey, this is just preliminary. This is just a report. There's no, nothing that says we have to do everything there, but it's best practices. And so let's just go ahead and do it, rather than them being scared and saying, oh my God, here's a piece of paper that lists 100 things. I can't do 100 things.
So Bruce, I don't know where you land on this, but I'm thinking this, I would really like to make sure that Kathy's in the loop since we have a new school superintendent who is willing to entertain this thought. And I don't know, what that means for him, but I want to make sure that Kathy is totally on board before we go too crazy.
Definitely. So
yeah, I just don't want to make this a huge project because it really is a tiny little thing, and I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, same here, but I just want to make sure everyone is on board before we do anything. How does that sound to you, Bruce?
sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Can I ask about, is the focus now just Union School, right? That Andres that you and Rachel specifically are pushing for, like as opposed to the entire school district?
Well, there's two things. There's the walk audit, and we proposed doing Union because it's a gimme and a very walkable thing, and we thought it would make us look good. That's not the biggest need for the town at all. But we just thought, hey, let's have a quick little win and show that it's nice, and then we could use that as a segue to get others done. I think the real true need is to do Irving Robbins and East Farms, because that is going to be the one that shows, will tie into our whole jug handle project. And with it being a regional school, most kids don't have a good way of getting there. But again, the audit's free. It's easy. Just check the box here, do it. And then the second part is the Safe Routes to Schools curriculum, which I specifically stayed out of and said, this is not that. I don't have anything to do with that program because that is internal to the schools and needs school resources and teachers and storage and equipment and all that. That is a larger lift for the town than to sign this form to have someone else do a walk on it. So I think both things are happening at the same time. And Brian, I think that's where, the big part of, hopefully our conversation with the new superintendent is to say, hey, let's do the walk audit, easy, check the box, get that done. And by the way, the big project we really need to do is the education.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to frame it, like minimum.
Rich has his hand up for a bit. Rich?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm circling back to Bruce's question about inquiries with the DOT. If you could just, I don't know, quick reminder about this whole jug handle gateway to Farmington Trail. Because I know I used to sit in on those state bike ped advisory committee meetings on Friday mornings, but it
Yeah.
conflicted with my work. So
Yeah.
there's
It's on
awareness
their
of-
list, Rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I-
being a Farmington resident and on this committee, when I meet with whoever, is somewhat reasonably involved in bike ped projects at DOT, I almost always bring it up. It's just, just to say that, this is coming down the road, hopefully sooner rather than later, but, there will be, some sort of a feasibility, 20% design, coming out of, Bruce Sears' office through some sort of a consultant that we're going to hire. And a key component of this, as we're all aware, is getting through the signalization, and get to West Hartford, and has to be a DOT project. There's
Okay.
no way around. There's no way around it. So
Okay, that's great. You don't have, I just wanted to chime in and just bring it up every chance you can. I try to, and I'm glad to hear
so
you're
do
doing
I.
that. So,
Oh yeah, no,
so-
absolutely, yeah. No, I've been beating the drum on this for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, as you know.
All right, great. That's enough then. Thanks.
All right, I think this is a good time for me to bow out, but I just wanted to make sure that you heard that update from James and Bruce to say that I think our next step is to talk to Kathy and see what she sees as our path forward from the town side.
So Brian, before you go, I just wanted to make the suggestion that Farmington get in touch with the folks in Canton, because they're practically our neighbors and they do have the Safe Routes to School program. So I think they would be able to help a lot with how they have structured these issues that we're talking about. How they're-
Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't realize they had that there. Thanks for letting me know. I had
they
no
they
idea.
do. Carolyn and I went to a couple of the presentations and the meetings. So
Okay.
we watched it unfold.
Oh,
Yeah.
then they would be a good resource since they've already implemented that. Thanks. Just
Right.
know that I'm working on it and I want to engage Kathy. And I know Bruce and Mason, I know you guys got our back, so I appreciate that. And I think we have a good resource on the Board of Ed. And hopefully, with that, if what I heard from James's meeting with the new superintendent, it would be nice to have him enthusiastic about the options that are in front of us here. So I just wanted to share that with you myself before I headed out. Otherwise, I'd be here the whole time.
All right, Brian.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Let's get back to where we were on the agenda. I got bounced around. So we finished the business access to businesses. D was the trail repairs along Middle Road. I left that on because I know the major part of the repairs were done, but the highway is going to go back there in the spring and do a little more cleaning up along the edge. They lost the season, so they're going to go back in the spring and edge it up like our Rich and I had talked about. So that'll be done in the spring. E.
Hey, real quick, thanks again for that, Bruce. It's even tonight I rode through it and going through that parking lot and where all the scree used to be. It's really
Yep.
nice.
Good.
Really,
Yeah, the
really
highway
well.
guys did a real nice job. So
Yeah, they did.
E is the water fountain. That's going to stay on the list until we can get that in the spring. All right, so that's on hold until we energize that line up again in the spring, and we'll take a look. F was the review replacing trail parking lot identification signs, and I think Ron, you've got something on. That's kind of something that you've been working on, right?
Right. So the representatives from Farmington, Simsbury, and Avon, the little subcommittee that we have, we came up with a working idea, I guess you would call it, for our 3 towns, because we'd like to try to keep them uniform to some point. But I actually have a couple suggestions a little different than what they were going to do. So you'll be receiving what they're just suggesting. And then, as I said in the email, I think we should just sit down and kind of, I guess, personalize it a little more towards Farmington.
Because I know that I think earlier this either was October or November, somebody had brought up wanting to replace the Brickyard Road.
You sent me those quotes. In fact,
yeah.
Those quotes are going to the Farmington Valley Trails Council's board of directors for review. I sent them off. They received them, and I did, Ron. Just so you're aware, when I was talking to Barb on this and Laura Risotto, they agreed that, yeah, it does in fact make sense to name the part where these signs are in parking lots. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a bunch of these signs at trailheads that would just continue to say Farmington below them. But the parking lots should indeed, for wayfinding purposes, name the parking lot. It really does make sense. It really does. It just makes a ton of sense.
Good. I'm glad we're starting to get a little bit of.
Yes. So I had that conversation with them. They seemed, they weren't nonplussed about that. So we'll see, Bruce. So we'll see what they come back with in terms of funding. Mm-hmm. What they've got. But would they pay for 100% of it? I don't know the answer to that. But even if it's 50%, I mean, that particular sign is crumbling to dust. So.
Yeah, just to bring Ron up the board, all it was a price to get an understanding of what it would cost to replace that green oval sign there.
Yeah.
So it's going back to what our new ones are. It's like 2 inches of styrofoam.
Yeah.
Engraved, and then it's painted. So it'll look just like that. It was like $7,000 for the entire sign installed.
So yeah. one of our people I know that I race bikes with is Art Rohde up in Granby, and he and his son started a sign company called Belmead Signs, and they've done all sorts of different signs. And as a bike enthusiast, he would understand the need for it. So if you're getting quotes, might as well check with Art as well. He might be able to beat whatever.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, in my experience, one-off signs like these are sometimes you can actually get a better quote from somebody. The commodity signs are almost all similar prices. You don't really, that I don't see much of any difference in prices for stuff like that. But Bruce, it might be worth doing just to, send them, the spec card, which you did for those guys.
Yep. Well, Andres, if you just email me the name, because I've never heard of that before.
Oh, well.
Just email me the name. All right.
Who do you guys use now? Do you use Signs Plus?
I know I use Sign Pro is what came from.
Okay.
It was just a quick get an idea because they did the last sign we did for a contractor for the section from Red Oak down to Town of Plainville. So I just called them. I got them to re-up their price. So it's $7,000 installed. It was like $1,000 for the installation. So really, the towns can save $1,000 if their highway guys install them. Doesn't take much. All you're digging is just two post holes and just dropping them in and screwing it together. So,
I added it to the chat.
Oh, excellent! Thanks.
Do you mind just sending that in an email too, if you don't mind? All right, so I don't have to chase this and copy it over.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so that was that. Okay. And then we have a few sub committees. So the first one was the website. Carolyn, if you want to go ahead and give them an update.
Yeah, we got together and we wrote out new text for the committee page as a subcommittee. I'm not sure if it got uploaded, Bruce. Do you know?
What? If what
Well,
got
the new
uploaded?
text for the committee page, for our committee page.
You break it up. I'm not. I haven't done anything to the page yet
Okay.
because
I
I
was just,
thought I was
I
waiting.
haven't seen it. I was just curious.
Oh,
Yeah.
because,
So
because you and I were going back and forth. There was that typed up thing that we were working on, and that's why I poked at you. I haven't seen it, so I know there was some discussion during it. So I'm not sure who was. I think that you were updating that. Was it or was it?
I don't know. I don't know if there's much left to do. We kind of we got together. It was you, me, Ron, and Brian, and we there was a draft. We went back over the text again, and edited it as a little subcommittee. And I think
I haven't seen, but I haven't seen the final document though.
it's the same link, so it's just Google Doc. So everyone.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Sorry about that. Sorry about the confusion.
I think Bruce, were you gonna go back into it? And I thought you had said you were gonna go and you had
Yeah, but
ideas.
I wasn't aware that it was being uploaded to this Google Doc because I don't use Google Docs. My wife does at school, and I didn't realize it's like a server where you can keep going in. I thought it was just to look at it and view it. So all right. I'll go back in the link then.
It's all good. I think everyone has editing privileges, so it's simple, straightforward. I know that you or Brian may want to take one more look just to make sure.
Yeah, I will.
Kosher and all that.
I'll take a look, and then we'll get that uploaded.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Next one is Safe Routes to School. I think we've beat that up, I think. All right. Yeah. Good. Bike Walk Vibrant Community Forum. Who wants to talk about that one?
Well, we've got I'll jump into it, but somebody can definitely just talk over me. Our next meeting is on it's in early January, I think on the 5th. And so we have kind of thought about making it like a 50-50 presentation where we have some very brief presentations by Ron's kind of got a list of people he think would be great, people like Amy Watkins or the head of Farmington PD, and followed by the second half of the program, which would be question and answer section from
Bruce Donald. You're on that list, so take an eye out for your invitation to be in there.
I'm used to it. I'm giving a 2-hour presentation tomorrow night. So yeah, no, I'm happy to do stuff like that. You know that.
What was the date? What was the date we had? I'm just trying to look that up now. I thought I threw it in the calendar.
March, I think it was the 19th.
Was it March 19th? All right, I don't have it in there.
So,
right.
I did think it was March. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I do, but I thought I put it in my calendar. So okay, but I have it on my other paperwork back at the office. So okay.
So that we're thinking of the senior center for that, and note cards for the question and answer section. Amy Watkins from Watch from ECT. We like each person to do maybe like 10 minutes of presentations. We think that would be just fine to give people a flavor of what's going on right now. And I know Bike Walk Farmington, we're still kind of tossing around the idea that we may want to change the name, but that's just an idea because I'm not sure that the state, like Bruce, like you said, Bruce here, you mentioned like it's more kind of like a state of things, a current like snapshot of where we are and what people kind of need to know, as opposed to like a really vibrant, like figuring out what makes kind of our town vibrant or what would improve that. So that's just.
I'm confused. You're talking about the name of the committee or the name of the subcommittee that we have?
Of the presentation of the program.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It's just, like I said, I think that's the intent, is just to It's more of a quick update, and then more because I think that the object for this, or what I thought it was to hear back from the
Go up.
to hear back from the community, you know.
Yeah, I think no, and I think you're right about that.
And let them tell you, hey, you know what, this is great, but this intersection is horrible, or this is bad. We'd love to be able to connect A with B, something like that. So
Yeah, which
Okay.
I think it's very it's kind of a humble goal, relatively simple. I just I think it's kind of been done before, with which doesn't make it any lesser for having been done before. But like for me, just for my personal thoughts, vibrant is like a really kind of
Yep.
high word for for this meeting. It just doesn't
Yeah.
have the flavor that I think.
But
that-
I do think, we want to have more public, input, kind of almost like a straw poll kind of thing. What are the things around town that we can be working on that the town really needs and wants, and because we're just kind of a microcosm of the whole town, obviously, right? So, if
Not
we can
even
get
that great of a microcosm.
Yeah,
We're
well,
very much a self-selected.
good point. Yeah. But anyway, that was just kind of my feeling about it, was, just trying to get, the public out and asking questions.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to summarize it. Very short presentations, and the heart of it would probably be the Q&A session. You're both right.
Anything else, anybody on that? All right. Next one is item 3. I put this on there because there was a little bit of discussion about this, is speed limits. So as Dan smiles, I can see him smiling. So I don't know. I know it's kind of a open thing, but it's open discussion at this point to try to understand what other towns are doing. Number one, what's a sensible speed limit? 2, and how do we monitor, or how do we issue citation or enforce that speed limit? That's the problem. So those are just items I think that we should discuss before we start throwing up speed limit signs.
Well, I think before to publicize it, somebody should take
Hmm.
AI and take Van Halen's "I Can't Drive 55" and change it to "I Can't Ride 25"
All right.
and just put it up on social media and
Why
see what
not?
happens.
Why not? So I think you're all aware, I'm on the statewide e-bike committee for my sins. I can't say no to these things, which is probably stupid, but and one of the groups that's on there is the Confederation of Police Chiefs. So they've got a representative on that board, and this has cropped up a number of times. And so I think, again, Bruce, to go back to your point, is if Farmington was looking to do a municipal ordinance of, and everyone's talking about 15 miles an hour as a practical matter.
That's what that.
What's that?
I couldn't hear you. How fast did you say?
15.
15. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much what everyone's talking about right now. So there's 2 things involved there. The first one is, even if it's a municipal ordinance, enforcement is a very tricky thing. And if you talk to anybody in any police department, they'll say the same thing. They'll also say, and justifiably for most police departments, there aren't enough hours in the day for them to actually, camp out, by the side of a bike trail and try to arrest people. So, and then of course, if you do that, what do you fine them? Is it $50? Is it $10? Is it slap to the wrist? I'm less concerned, and this is just my personal opinion now, because I've heard a lot of different arguments. And I'd love to hear what you all think about this. But I'm less concerned, quite frankly, about the about police presence in this, in the sense that we know it's going to be minimal anyway, even if they say yes. To sending out bike patrols, for instance, periodically. We know the Farmington Police Department has some bikes and they have some guys on bikes, and they like doing it. But there's only so many hours in the day, right? So, my thought process with this is Farmington creates an ordinance of a 15 miles per hour for class 1 and class 2 e-bikes. Class 3 bikes and anything else are not allowed on the trails, and essentially posts it. And we post it at strategic places, the parking lots, the kiosks, trail entrances, and we make it very plain that that's the law of the land in Farmington, and it will at the very least do a little bit of self-policing, in the sense that there it is, it's up there on a sign, and it gives the opportunity for the town, and I say that broadly based, but really it's the police department, if they should choose to go out and try to nab somebody who's obviously doing more like 25 or 30, the opportunities to do that. So that's kind of where I think people across the state are kind of, discussing this, and it's really in the early days of this. We have had, there's a subcommittee of that group that is working on a prototype ordinance. We don't have that drafted yet. But so that's what I know.
Dan, any thoughts on how that would be monitored, how that would be policed? I mean, I don't know if your actual laser actually goes down that slow.
So, well, they do. I had been curious, and I looked up a few articles about other municipalities taking like speed enforcement using the similar type laser. But like you said, I mean, realistically, our department only runs 5 people during the day, or 4 people during the daytime, 5 in the evening.
See, yeah.
The numbers aren't there. We do have, during the summer months, we have community service officers who ride the trails. They are allowed to issue town code tickets. So if it falls under something like that, where it's a town code violation, they'd have more ability. But then, at the same time, obviously, there's the people who are riding recklessly at higher speeds. Yeah, we don't want that, but we also don't want to discourage people from, being on the trails and that kind of thing. So I think the idea of signage, you reach the most amount of eyes with having signs everywhere. And like you said, the self-policing with the my example would be like a no trespassing sign. You're more likely to follow the sign, seeing it, as opposed to not.
Yeah, that is the idea. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right. Like the signage reaches more eyes, and maybe they are watching, they are paying attention. Maybe, not that, I'm thinking of our fatal or serious injury accidents on bikes, and they've not been e-bike related so far. But I do like the idea of more of signage. If we can establish a set limit and post it signage everywhere, I think that's the best way to kind of police everybody to following it. And again, like I said, I'm a bike officer. I try to get out and ride, but realistically, there's just so much that goes on in the day, and putting someone on a speed enforcement, like for bicycles, when we don't have anyone doing speed enforcement for like cars.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just think, the way things are set up right now, it just isn't realistic. So
yeah, we don't have the staffing in Farmington to like dedicate, but I think signage would be the overall goal is probably better accomplished with posting it for all to see.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. I really did want to hear what you thought about that. So that's good.
Yeah.
So I guess the other alternative, and Bruce, Donald, have you been hearing of putting up signage, which is being done too in places? I'm not sure what the wording is exactly, but just telling people to be cautious and to ride at.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is some of that?
Well, it depends on what it is. Rules of the road. Usually, it's considered to be what they're called is etiquette signs, right?
Yeah.
Pass on the left, announce yourself, walk in single file, don't use those goddamn dog leashes that you can't see. Things, basic stuff, right?
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
Common sense is not common. You got to start off with that, because you're putting that stuff up, like you said, the suggestions is a great idea, but you're not going to be able to make everybody. You're not going to get everybody on board.
Yeah.
No, you're not wrong. I'm looking for. There's a great. Oh, here we go. I got it right here. Let me see. Can I share my screen on this thing?
Let me see if I can. I'll just. Multiple panelists can share simultaneously.
Okay.
What's that?
Let me. There we go. Share. Come on. There we go. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
That is right near my son in Lafayette, Colorado.
Okay.
And we're seeing a lot more of stuff like this across the nation. So essentially, there's three signs there, right? It's the speed limit sign, and then the etiquette sign, which is, Ron, what you were talking about in the middle, and then an actual e-bike rules sign. But notice the QR code that goes right to the municipal ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've seen signs like that out in Wisconsin and Illinois.
Yeah, well, we're seeing them more and more across the United States. So this just happens to be, right outside of Denver.
It's nice, though. It's well done.
I thought they did a great job. That's why I saved the photo. And again, do we need to do all of that? Not necessarily, but it's food for thought for sure.
Should we wait for your commission to put together a sample ordinance, or what?
I'm thinking that the town should at least talk about 15-mile-an-hour signs to start. And as there seems to be a preponderance around this state of municipal ordinances and this prototype one we're trying to do with this statewide committee, as soon as we get a draft, obviously I'll get it to you. But I can't imagine it'd be more, any time before, late in the first quarter of next year. So, I would say that the town should talk about a speed limit.
Right.
I think that's the low hanging fruit.
All right.
Bruce,
Maybe what I'll do is I'll take this in front of the director of public works, town manager, police chief, and highway, all the ones, and we have a traffic review board, and maybe we can bring that in front of them.
Yeah, perfect.
To kind of discuss for that kind of preliminary discussion.
And in fact, honestly, if you'd like me to talk to them, let me know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll let you know. Let me see. I'll probably take the bullet first.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's what you're getting paid for, right?
I'll take the bullet first, and then maybe if they want to look at this down the road, a little more information, then I'll bring you on. So
perfect. Good.
All right. Anything else on that? Anybody have? All right. Next one is the meeting schedule for 2026. Do we want to keep the same meeting schedule? Do we want to still meet every month? Just trying to update, and then I'll send out a list of dates. So I just wanted to open that up for discussion before I send anything out.
Yeah, I think so.
You want to keep the monthly? Everybody's in favor of the monthly meetings?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. the Wednesdays are good still. All right. So I'll send out I'll send out the meeting dates. Keep same schedule. All right.
Bruce, when the Zoom meetings are sent out, I should probably look before asking, but is there like an ICS attachment? Where
I
you
don't
just
know if
stick
that's
it.
been clicked. I could add those if you
Yeah.
guys want. I'll add those. All right. Because I know that some people don't use them. I know a lot of people on my other commissions don't use them. So, but yeah, if you guys are, I'll add that to it. And I've never seen
Yeah,
it.
I go ahead and just put everything in my calendar. Otherwise, I forget.
Yeah,
Just
I
like
put everything in my electronic calendar. I don't dare not at this point.
Yep. Just like me.
Yeah.
Along with the grocery list that the wife.
Oh, old school, Matt. You still have a Rolodex?
Wow. All right.
A minute.
Any updates from the Farmington Valley Trails Council?
No, we haven't really had a meeting. We had our yearly get together that we already talked about, and we didn't have a December meeting, so nothing really to report.
Okay. Next item is Bike Walk Farmington updates.
Well, the vibrant community. I'm going to be reaching out to different businesses too, just to try to let them know how they can kind of benefit from the trail. Ever since Bruce sent out that report, they all need to see that about how the trail is benefiting them and how it can benefit them more. So I have a few little businesses in mind.
Why don't you start? I would probably start maybe like, why don't you meet with a common ground, not common ground.
Daily Grind?
Huh?
Daily Grind?
Yeah, Daily Grind. Thank you.
Oh,
I
he's
have a
been reaching
restaurant,
out.
uncommon
So-
ground in the back of my head that I live.
Yeah.
in there. So,
He's
but I
been
mean,
reaching out to me and would
Huh?
like us to put like a tent in front one day and just
Oh, let's do that. That's a great idea.
yeah.
No, but I mean, speak with them. I would just have a heart to heart with them, see, because they've been in business for a bit and they've had the trail with and without the, now that the winter's here, just talk to them, see how their business is, see if they are getting a benefit of the trail. You know what I mean? And then use that as a springboard to talk to other people as well.
Yeah, I would say them as much as anyone would be a beneficiary. Of my thing and are benefiting from the trail. So, but like Bruno's, even a place like Bruno's was a little off the beaten path, to just so they understand if they can attract bike walk traffic there.
Everybody's going to want a sign. That's the problem. Everybody wants it, and we can't put signs for every single business.
No, right.
But what we do have is the QR code that links to our economic development coordinator website, which lists all the businesses. So you can zoom in and see all the businesses in the area. So if they're not on that, then they definitely just check with our Rose Ponte, our economic development coordinator, and get added on that list. And that's the best way I think I see it now, for people to know what's in. Because if I'm from Massachusetts and I come through and I want to see what's in the area, I would just hit the QR code and look to see what businesses, I'm hungry, see which restaurants are there, coffee, first aid, that kind of stuff. So
before we move on, I just want to say for Bike Walk Farmington that West District is interested in doing another Bike to School Day. I think they did one in 2023. In 2024, it got canceled because there was construction on West District Road. So that was a last minute thing, but they are interested in doing it in 2026 and probably be May, but we've yet to meet with the principal. We have a meeting for early next month.
So
awesome.
So just to kind of piggyback on that, I think they more or less, it's going to open the discussion again, right, Carolyn? They Yeah, it has to meet some of their criteria, which can get a little complicated, but
Right. Yeah, they the first year we did it with them, they did a Saturday bike to school. We started at the school, we went out, came back. The next year we were going to try a loop from the school again back to the school. But that got canceled at the last second. Which they're trying to avoid that happening again.
yeah.
But
So
hopefully,
we have high hopes that we can figure something out.
yeah. So there's like always a debate whether do they want to be on West District Road as a group? Do they want to try to use the back way, which they do have kind of a nice trail at the back of the school, but it is kind of steep, and kids are kind of known for biting off more than they can chew. So that's another discussion too.
All right. Just keep us informed on the date because we can at least help with what we know for planned construction in the area. I'd hate to have you pick a date and us not realize, and next thing you know, we're approving a permit to replace a water main on some road, and and then all of a sudden it messes up your thing. So, all right.
What we started doing last year with Union was to submit the town request for an activity. What's that?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So everyone becomes aware of it. Yeah.
Good. Yep. Perfect.
Mhm.
The kids would love a jump over a culvert.
A what?
Just build a jump over the culvert.
That's
if you're
right.
digging a water
Make it
main.
challenging.
Huh.
No.
Some kids.
The parents would be the ones falling down, though.
All right. And then the third 4.3 is the recreational trails grant. So as you know, we did meet with DEP, so we are on board with that. I've started working on the RFP for that. So again, it's not going to be any good getting this out right before Christmas because these consultants are not going to be able to get to it. So right after the new year, this will go out. Consultants will bid on it, and then they'll get back to us. Then we'll have to go through an interview process to pick a consultant, and then getting them on board.
You're
And then
gonna
from there,
gonna do 45 days
for what?
for the RFP to be out?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I haven't picked a date, but yeah, that sounds about right. I had to look.
Yeah, that's usually about what I see. Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
So,
and I'll
yeah,
get it out to I'll get it out to people. So as soon as you get that ready to
Mhm.
roll, let me know and I'll shoot it out to
Yeah, and
various
and
consultants.
if you're still interested in reviewing it, I'll get you a draft copy at some point. You can go
Happy
through
to. I'm happy to look at it. Yep.
that. All right, and we'll get that out, and then from there we'll develop a schedule with them because it could take a while because there's got to be survey involved. All right, there's going to be just surveying. There's going to be design plans. Depending on the route it takes, multiple meetings with property owners for easements, state. So this could take a while, in terms of, when I say while, I mean in all of the intention is to get a final plan done so that when a trails grant, construction grant is available, we take the plans, attach it with the permit or the application and go, here you go. This is all set to go,
Yeah, we try to have these done in 18 months, but oftentimes it can easily be 2 years.
The surveying alone is going to take a while.
The surveys take how long they take, right?
It's going to take a lot of intricate surveying along, and as you guys know, it's not the easiest spot to survey too because you're along side of the road. So at some point we'll be back with some alternate routes, and we'll have to put together some ideas and things like that. Come up with some plans. All right. That's 4.3. Next one is item 5 is the minutes. Anybody? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the November 12th meeting?
I'd make a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
All right. Perfect. All right. Before I close out for an adjournment, anything I miss? Anything that someone needs to bring up for the next meeting? I could add it to the agenda.
Not that I could think of.
All right.
I'm curious who our guest is.
What guest?
Mason.
Oh, Mason. He's with the engineering office. So he's been.
Oh, Mason is with the engineering office.
Yeah, he's been shadowing. You've been listening in for the last.
Well, Mason, you're very quiet, and you should introduce yourself.
I
What's
forgot
your,
with this group that I had with the other one that Bruce and I did. I wasn't even thinking. So,
Yeah.
well, it's nice to meet everyone.
Good to see you.
Too.
Welcome to the group.
All right. So if no one has anything, I'll take
I have
it.
one question.
ahead.
For the other Bruce, are you doing that thing tomorrow night at Tunxus?
Yes, I'm the speaker. Yes.
Okay, so if we come, do we have to bring gifts or anything for you? Since
No, this is not. God, I don't. This is the last thing I need is gifts. Yeah, no, I just come as you are. It's at
4.
It's
4 o'clock,
it's 4 o'clock. It's at the main auditorium at Tunxus.
Sounds good. I might see you there.
Great.
All right. I'll take a motion for adjournment. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Good night.
Have
Have
a
a great
great
holiday.
Thanks.
Everybody,
Merry
have a
Christmas,
great
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And I'll get the list out. I'll get the list out for the next meetings. Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
All right.